Today on the workbench, I've got a new project here. This is an Athearn GP60B, and I've had this for a couple years, and I just thought I'd get it out. This was actually a, let's see, was it a Santa Fe? I believe it was a Santa Fe. I stripped all the paint off of it and painted it black. And I think I'll probably decal this with Southern decals and just make it plain black, like the one switcher that I have. But yeah, I just thought this would be something a little different. But what we're going to put in this, we're going to use one of the, this is a Soundtraxx board. We're going to hardwire this one in. And I've had this board, I've got two of these, or three of them. I've had them for a while now, a couple years. I just never got around to putting this in. But we'll put this in. I do have a set of handrails for this thing. Let's see, what else do I have? I've got two scale sound system speakers to put in this. Let's see what size these things are. So it is, say it's going to be 35 by 15 by 12. And then I've got this other one. So that's 13 by 18 by 18. We'll wire those up in a series. I've got a TCS KA1 to put in it, and that should be it. So let's get started. I have already removed the couplers. It just, these old Athearns, they just have screws in them in the coupler box. You can pull those out, but and then the shell just lifts right off. And I will put LED lights in this too. But this has a Disassembly decoder in it, and I mean it runs good. So let's go ahead, get started, and we can unplug that off of the board. That's no big deal. Let's see, what else do we got here? We'll pull our motor wires off. Let me zoom in just a little bit. Make it a little easier to see. Pull that off. We've got a track pickup here that we'll pull off. And then here's another track pickup. And the back. We've got these clips, and that wire was just hanging in there. So we can take that off, pull that off easy in case I didn't want to pull that right there off. Alright, so now what we'll do, since this thing was already DCC, the motor is isolated. I'm going to pull this, let's see, yep, I'm going to pull this clip off very carefully so I don't lose the spring out of it. And then I can put a little bit of flux on here, or a lot of flux. Get me a pair of tweezers out. And we'll get us some red wire here. That way we'll be able to differentiate the two. Okay. So cut us a piece of wire. Strip that off. So we've got that. Get out some alcohol. We'll clean the flux off of that. That'll give us a better surface to mount our board to. That flux off of there. Okay. I'm just going to reuse the wires that's on it. And let's see. So now we're just going to take and put some double-sided tape on this. Let me clean that off so I can put some double-sided tape on it. And now, as usual, put that alcohol away. We can go ahead and start fighting with our double-sided tape. There's that. trying to look straight down on this thing. It's going uphill a little bit, but it is on there solid. And that's what matters. So now I'm going to go ahead and put some flux on this, and we can tin these pads up. Let's see, these are lights. Got our motor. And I'll have to put in resistors on this. More track pickups and the rear lights. And really, well, other than the speakers, which are, let me get out the flux again, these two up here on the end. And we can go through and tin some more of this. Okay. So we've got that. So now that we have that, we can start on our track pickups. Put a little more solder up here on this one. There's a track pickup. Get out my tweezers. And this picks up power, so you can see where it picks up power from the left hand or right hand side, the engineer side. This wire is connected to the frame, so it's picking up the other side. twist that just a little bit. Trim some of that excess off. And I'll hook all this up and then try it to see where see if the direction's right. Then we've got our rear pickup. Oh, that was the one that had the little clip on it, so I need to put some flux on that and solder it, tin it. Okay, so we've got that one. Run this through over here. Cut it off, and then we'll strip it and tin it. Okay, so far this is ready to go. Now I'm going to try it and I'll be back in a second. Okay, we're back. I did try it. I have my motor wires reversed, so we'll pull them off and reverse them. Easier said than done. Okay. Let's see, let me pull that just a little bit. That way we can get it under our board. We'll have to lube this just a little bit. So let me do that right now, because it did of course it's one of these old Athearn drives. Get a little grease and not much. Just a drop in there will take care of what we need it to do. And I use super lube for that. It's safe for plastic. All right. Now we're ready to move on to our lights. So I'm going to put this up on the test track. Get out the shell. I'm going to put this up on the test track and let it run here for a minute. Okay. We're going to put the lights in this. And I've been doing something new here. I've got this product. It's called Bondic. B-O-N-D-I-C. And it sets up under UV light. So let me get this out. And I've got some LEDs here already. Well, they're wired up already. So we'll put our bulb in. This requires no wait time. So let me get this in. And before I put this stuff in, I will take and test this bulb. So we'll get that turned on. Okay, so that bulb does work. Alright, now we just take our little pin here and we fill up our cavity. Hit it with some UV light. And that bulb is in there and ready to go. Now I'll stick another one in, and I'll test this before I put it in like I did the last one. Okay, that one works. Put that right through. Make sure that it's facing out. There's our Bondic on it. Some adhesive or some UV light. It's all good to go. Now I'm going to go inside here, and I'm trying to see where I'm at. We'll get our UV light in there. there's those two. Now we'll do our long hood. Go ahead and check these. And the stuff is crystal clear. And I've done it probably in a dozen locomotives now, so that light works. And they do seem to, it does seem to work really well. Push that through. Get our adhesive in there. We'll get our last one out. Test it. Okay, so that one tests good. It's always a good thing to test these. Okay, so now we'll get down in here. That way these can't pull out. Not without breaking them off anyway, let's say that. Alright, so there's all our lights. And that took, what, probably 5 minutes? We don't have to wait overnight for it. Like with a couple of other methods I've used. So we've got that. Now, we are ready to put our speakers in. Let me pull my lights out. I'm going to be working one side at a time with the speaker. So the first thing I want to do is bit of flash on that. Just going to hit that with a file real quick. And then I can use this one back here, and this one will go up here. But what I want to do first is wire part of these. So I'll get out some black wire. Strip that. And tin it. And then I want to tin that. Clean that tip off. And I want to get my solder out of the roll. I'm going to tin this speaker. So there's that side. Now it will connect to the positive side of this speaker. Some flux on that. Can tin that. And I want to tin the positive side of the speaker. I might as well go ahead and tin the other side. This was going to the positive. So that'll set like that. Now, I'll get another piece of wire here. Go ahead and tin it. That'll go to our board. And we'll get us another length of wire. This will go to the positive side on the other speaker. and then it will go to the board. After I tin the speaker. After I chase it all over the table. Okay. So there we have our speakers. Now I want to clean the back of them off with some alcohol. Put some double-sided tape on them. I just clean that off with alcohol. Okay. Let's go ahead and put this side in. Get all this other stuff out of the way. So there's one set. There's that set. Now I'll move those wires out of the way. There we have our speakers in. We're ready to wire those up, and we're ready to wire our lights up after we put in a resistor. So let's see. I'm going to strip off our speaker wires. And I just soldered that one out of frame. Now let's get our other one. So there's our speakers. Now, get out our lights. And I'm going to turn this around, so I'm going to run it long hood forward. So that means my wires, this is my short, I'm going to call this my short hood up here. This is the back. But let's see. I've got some 1,000 ohm resistors that I'm going to go ahead and put in. One and two. And then the only thing left we'll have left to do is put in the Keep Alive. So I just put some flux on that. Well, I may have to look that up to see which side of that is the negative and the positive for the lights. Alright, I'll be back. Okay, that's the positive side, and then that's the positive side. So we'll put this on the negative side. Okay, and I'll get this one out. And I'll do the same thing to it. And we'll hook on that. Then right on the negative side. Okay. Now we're ready. I'll go ahead and strip my wires. Then I can twist them together. The bad thing about these wires is I can't feel them in my fingers. They're so small. Go ahead and get this one all tinned up. Didn't cut off my resistor wires. Let's see now. I need a little piece of heat shrink on both of those to cover up the resistor. There, I've got the positive side hooked up. We'll go ahead and put some flux on that. Tin it. Okay. Now, for the other side. Just a couple of more connections. Get a few things out of the way here. Now that I've got more flux on that, which I didn't need. Okay, there's our lights and our speakers. All we have left is our Keep Alive. And I believe it is small enough. Let me get this out of the way. And I should have had it open like I normally say. But So now this, to hook this Keep Alive up, it hooks in right here. So what I've got is a TCS 2-pin connector. There's the part number for that. And I believe that it will, nope, it will not. Alright, it was worth a shot. I don't have any small connectors for that. So what I'll have to do is I'll solder them right to the pads back there on the back. I just got to figure out what's what is positive and which is the negative. Looks like the right side is the negative side. So I may have to turn the camera off for this, just so I can get in here to see it myself. I'm going to go ahead and strip and tin these wires. Okay. So I'm going to turn you off. I'll solder this up and then I'll bring you back to show it to you. Okay. Now I've got that soldered into the back of the plug. Now all I've got to do is, what we'll end up doing is we'll have it right here. So let me clean that off. We get a small piece of double-sided tape. So I've got some double-sided tape on it. Stick that right down. Okay, now we are ready to put it all together. All right, there we go. It is all together. It fits. I'm going to try it out. I'll be back here in a second. All right, it does work. Lights are all operational. Keep Alive works. I'm going to go ahead and put the couplers back on. I'll put the or the handrails on, and then we'll set it up on its side, and then you can see the finished product. I'll be back. Alright, we've got this up here on the turntable. Got it all completed, got the handrails on it, and of course I don't have any of the decals on it yet, but we do have the decoder installed, and we're going to run it here, let you hear what it sounds like. So let's go ahead and plug it in and get it going through its startup sequence. Okay, so we went through that. Let me spin it around here, and you'll be able to see the new LEDs. I have the sound turned down, or the horn volume turned down, because I figure I'm going to end up running this in a consist, and I really don't need the horn on this unit. So you can see there the light. I'll turn that off. But let's see, this is the Soundtraxx decoder, and it's got all the normal functions on it. You know, the horn, our bell. Of course, we've got our short horn. It's got a dynamic brake that will only run when it's moving. And our grade crossing. So just all the normal sounds. Let's see, we got a straight to 8. Our fuel loading. So I'm not really going to run through any of that, but it does have a really good sound to it. And of course the only lighting function is the front and rear headlights. So this pretty straightforward install. And this is an old Athearn blue box. I think it came out pretty well, and it looks pretty good with the GP9 that I'm going to run it with. So let's see. Yeah, there's really no need. I guess I can turn it around, but there's really no need to. It's all the same. So anyway, of course you can hear some of the cab chatter there. That wraps up this install. Of course, this is the PNP board. Keep it turning around there. Backward a little bit. Here, ramp up there a little bit. So that's this install. Another one completed. All right. Thanks for watching.